Hello, everyone. Sorry for the late start tonight. I have been running around, packing, getting ready for the drive to Tennessee tomorrow. So I got on here when I could get on here, and we're going to go over some of the dispatch audio again. And I got some from some sources, and then Baron Coleman got some from other sources. I know one was Project Constitution, but nonetheless, it's pretty interesting. And I'm Cindy Yates. Let's get into it. Maybe.
That door on the Wolverine Service Center is now secured. Apparently it closes at 5. I'll do a secondary sweep if there's another unit.
$11J50. Just 1014. I'm still about 15 out, but the 1J unit that's going to be up there to interview Andrew, as per FBI and FBI, we've been given clear direction not to interview, confirming negative interview until they get there.
$140, we were not going to interview. We are just arriving now.
Copy that.
$140 from 1J21. Go ahead. I was just told that the FBI wants you to stand by there with him, and they're on their way to you. Copy, will do. Thank you. And that came from the agent that's leaving Provo PD right now. Hey, Gordo, when you get a second, will you give me a call? Yeah, I'm calling now. 3J16.
Last 3G unit, you were broken.
$3J116 to the traffic units around campus. Jill Strap, you copy? Yeah, I copy. Go ahead. You guys can shrink down to the inner perimeter. Just, I need someone roving the north end of campus and the east side to make sure nobody comes onto campus, but you can open the roadways. Copy. I'll shrink down to the north side of the quad. Thank you. Any other units that are on the roadways, you can open.
So I'm going to just play the beginning of that again.
That door on the Wolverine Service Center is now secured. Apparently it closes at 5. I'll do a secondary sweep if there's another unit.
$11J50. Just 1014. I'm still about 15 out, but the 1J unit that's going to be up there to interview Andrew, as per FBI and FBI, we've been given clear direction not to interview, confirming negative interview until they get there.
So the timestamp on that is 5:17. FBI leaving Provo. PD, stand by. Do not interview Andrew. Who's Andrew? And this is, again, 5:17. So this would be the FBI arriving hours after the event happened. And let's assume, gosh, probably 30 minutes on the plane with Cash Patel throwing his tissy fit about not having his rain jacket with his FBI logo and patches. So, people had to scramble and get him a jacket, and then that jacket was too big. So then they had to scramble and find another, which they found the female with a medium for Cash, because he was not going to get off that plane without the FBI jacket and the patches. So they did so. So some wonderful lady had to give up her jacket to get Mr. Patel off the plane. Oh, and mind you, other FBI local ones gave their patches up so that Cash could deplane and go do his scurvy work, in my opinion. Because that's, I mean, we're about 4.5 hours into it, and Utah police have had this on lockdown, snipers on roofs and K9 and all that, and now miraculously FBI is on scene. They don't want nobody talking to anybody, and all this shit's about to pop off. So crazy business. Here's the next one.
On the Northern building.
1J137. Go ahead for the Northern building.
369. We did a secondary on the Wolverine building. It's clear and secure.
Dispatch copy. Secondary complete. Sierra 1. Dispatch to the unit at the Pope building. Are there any units still at the Pope building? Command.
Go ahead.
Just confirming, we're not looking for anyone or any vehicles still outstanding, correct?
Correct.
Incident command.
Go ahead.
Do you still want the lockdown in place?
Go ahead.
1014, just northeast of the Losi building, forensics has recovered a weapon.
7J16, do you have traffic for me?
7J14, the forensics team has located a weapon just across the street from lot Mike 20 near the Losi building.
Incident command, the shelter in place can be lifted.
10-4. Incident command also. Sierra 1 and 3 are both code 4.
7J16 to dispatch, do you have traffic for me?
Fine. We're just making sure that you were cleared off your Sierra phone.
Affirm. Command. Hey, we're putting up tape here on securing the scene. We're still getting some traffic up here on Campus Drive. If we can make sure to know the traffic goes east or westbound in our section, please. So whoever has the perimeter of the campus.
So, again, I mean, simultaneously, Cash is on his way to stop them from interviewing Andrew. And we can only assume, and this is just an assumption, Andrew has to be Andrew Colbert. Didn't hear of them interviewing any other Andrew. And that would be about the time that Andrew would be there. And then miraculously, they started taking everybody off the roofs and the normal regular police and sheriff's department and SWAT. And then boom. Hey, we got a weapon found. Amazing. Again, you know how Cash rolls. Got it on lockdown. And let's go over to Baron. Baron has other audio from a different source in Utah.
Afternoon. You're going to hear Alpha 35. We have shots fired. Charlie Kirk is down.
Alpha 34, we have shots fired. Charlie Kirk is down.
So that.
Hey, we did have shots fired. He's on his way to the ambulance. He's on his way to the hospital.
Engine 31 and Medic Ambulance 35 respond to a known incident type at 3 off in Utah Valley U on fire 2.
So I don't know.
3 units that can clear and respond to assist UVU with an active shooter.
Alpha 11, I've got one in custody.
Copy, 1 in custody.
Yeah. So Alpha 11 got one in custody, and then the dispatcher says, copy, one in custody.
12, everybody get off the radio. I've got a black SUV northbound on Wolverine Way. Passenger door is open. Someone's trying to hang out of it.
That
Assume this is possibly another victim. They've got one hanging out of the car.
So Charlie's a big guy. I do understand that. And I understand when you're initially putting him in, it's going to be difficult to get a 6'4" Charlie Kirk into the car sideways. But you would think as they're flying up the highway, at some point somebody would bend his legs and close the door. I would think.
2530. In a vehicle 50 South 1200 West in Orem, they have one hanging out of the car. We're not sure if they're a patient or if they're just trying to get out of the area.
Again. So this is, I played, the beginning was at the end of the day. This is more in the beginning of the day where you see, obviously, Utah is doing their job. None of this makes sense.
And as I have, if you wonder if the finishing off, and this is a dark, twisted, drab way to think about this, and I hate to even raise the issue, but I have to because I've mentioned it, that there could have been a fatal incident inside the car.
I think so too.
That I my working hypothesis is that Charlie Kirk was not just taken down one way. They would never have left it as a
chance.
They would never have left it up to a single gunshot from the Losi Center, a 142-yard gunshot that they just hoped was fatal. If you're going to take someone down, you're going to make sure they're taken down. And we know they made sure they were taken down because I hate to be dark about it, but they didn't have any plan. They didn't have security plans the next day. Nobody had flight plans the next day. I mean, it seems obvious to me that it was a plan. It was a group plan to make sure he didn't make it out of there alive. And so I've raised the issue of perhaps there was some electricity.
So when he says they didn't have any group plan or anything for the next day, that is because Charlie was in fact due to be, I believe it was Colorado, and nobody had any flights booked or nobody had any security prepared or locked down or advanced. And that just further reiterates that they all came into that knowing there would be no need for a plan or flight reservations to Colorado. I mean, I don't know how this could have gotten any messier than it is, and how they thought that this shit wasn't going to get out, and I guess they just thought they were that good.
Stop it. Gosh. I pulled an Ian. I knew I shouldn't have lowered it. I knew it. As soon as I lowered it, I was like, you're going to forget to put it back. All right, here we go. This raises the possibility. Well, I'll just play it and then we'll talk about it.
So notify Tiffin Hospital. We're about there in just a couple minutes with the victim.
So now somebody else has joined the parade. You have a either an ambulance or a police officer that is caught up to the car and is driving with them. Now put that in context of this next dispatch.
One other with me at Tiffin Hospital, please.
He said, I'm going to need another one with me at Timpanogos Hospital, please. I've not asked these people what all this means. I don't have access to the police officers. They would never talk about an ongoing investigation. But as I look at this, I start to put this together. I was like, okay, we have shots fired. Charlie Kirk is down. They've got one in custody, so they're not. I don't think they're worried at this point, anyway, about people getting away. That's a huge red flag for me, because I think this highlights the criticality of George Zinn doing what he did. It allowed anyone else on campus to get away scot-free because the police thought they had the guy.
So again, everything is so transparent on how everything plays. And in my opinion, the investigation and everything was going as it should under circumstances like this, by the sounds of it, until the FBI arrived on scene. And then they shut everything down. But ironically, the FBI, it's not their case, and this is up to Utah and the Utah prosecutors.
Is that the shooter was on top of the north building just east of the library wearing jeans, black shirt, and a vest.
Doesn't clear that up any. It's the same exact description, same exact thing. This is what they're operating with at this time. Now let's go forward to this is the key. This is probably one of the more important audio clips we'll play tonight. I'm going to cue it up, and then I'm going to say something before I play it. Oh, that's not right. 47. All right, let me cue it up, and then I'm going to say something before I play it. I'm going to bring it down. I will bring it back up before I play it. One of the keys that we've been told this entire time is that we know Tyler Robinson was the one on that roof, because while he didn't leave a weapon up there, he did leave the screwdriver. The screwdriver was up there on the Losi Center. We thought to ourselves, well, how does that work? Because at first they told us he reassembled the gun after he got done. Well, you can't reassemble the gun if you don't have a screwdriver. Then they told us, no, the gun was never disassembled to need to be reassembled. Okay, well, this is odd. Why did you say it was disassembled and then needed to be reassembled if it didn't need to be reassembled because it was never disassembled? Why did you say that? Then we were told, doesn't matter. We don't need to talk about the gun because we found the screwdriver. He left it where he was laying. It was right there. That's how we knew it was his screwdriver. Let me tell you what the first officer responding to the scene of the crime discovered, because I think he will disagree with that analysis, and the TPUSA Fed slop has fed us a healthy dose of but the screwdriver. Here, listen to what he says.
On top of the Losi building, I do have kind of a imprint, which would be a great angle. Just in 14, I'm up on top of the Losi.
Did you hear anything about a screwdriver? Don't you think if he saw a like he says he sees the imprint? That was an imprint. Would have made a nice angle. I just have a feeling he would have said, and there's a weird screwdriver right here. What's this doing here? I don't know. Maybe I'm reading that too much into it. Now, have you been told that within 24 minutes of the Big Bang, that the police already had an image, a still image, as well as a full video in their possession? Now, we knew a day or two later somebody came out because they put that thing on X that had the guy lying there on the full video on the thing. We know a day or two later they had a couple of days later, they had the surveillance footage from the computer science building that was looking out over the Losi Center. The FBI released that. We know a day or two later, they came out with the image of everybody dropping, and somebody noticed, hey, way in the background, there's a little guy, looks like he's scampering off the building. So we knew that like days later. Was anyone aware? And if they were, can we please take a look at this still photo and video? Because the Utah County Police, the police scanner, says that they have somebody with a picture and a full video. I don't know if that, now I don't, maybe they're talking about the actual wound, but I mean, I kind of read it as they have a image of the suspect. That's what they're looking for. But you tell me what you hear.
201, can you send me a picture of the individual we're looking for?
So that's the response to it. Let me go back to them saying they have a video. So if he responds saying, "Can you send me a picture?" It's in response to this transmission.
If we have somebody with a picture, we have somebody with a full video.
1J132. If we can get a few more units over to the Losi Center to help clear it out.
So the first broad.
So where was the picture in the video? Also, in one of these transmissions, and I know I played it, I think it was yesterday, the lady that was at the McDonald's requesting a police officer in person because she said she's seen the whole entire event take place and she needed to speak to a police officer. And they radioed that across the radio, and she was basically told, "Hey, can you just write this down on a report and leave your contact information?" So, where's the McDonald's lady? We didn't hear about her. And did she ever get interviewed? Just curious. I think not.
And now we get the introduction of canine dogs on the scene. Here we go.
United UVU.
1J129, I've got all county canine headed that way. Where do you need us?
We got all county canines headed that way. Where do you need us? I don't know what canine dogs are looking for in this moment. I don't know what they're looking for. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what they're after. This is only 10 minutes afterwards. Maybe they just think, hey, we might have a foot chase. We might have, who knows? I don't know what all canines can do. I know what canines allegedly couldn't do, which was locate the rifle. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So you've got somebody here who just spoke to a student. What did this student say?
Spoke to a student, said that the shooter is on top of the building on the far north side, maybe the CS building or just east of the library. He's wearing jeans, black shirt, black mask, long rifle.
The rifle is visible. Just spoke to a student. She said the shooter is on top of the building on the far north side. Now, I'm going to pull up the building she was just talking about. Because she said the CS building. That's the computer science building. I'll show you the building we're talking about. She didn't say the Losi Center building. She said the CS building. And let me pull this up and give you a good idea here of what we are looking at. This is the CS building. So if we drill in here, we get where is there? This is the courtyard, UVU courtyard right here. This is the UVU courtyard. North is straight up. This is not positioned to the north. I mean, the map is positioned to the north. The courtyard is actually kind of east-northeast facing. But if you back up here, this is where we're told the shot was taken from. This is where we're told the shooter came from. This is not the building that student just said she saw a shooter on. She described a shooter with some particularity. She described the shooter as wearing black jeans, black shirt, black mask, long rifle. And on top of the CS building, that building is back here. That's a different building. That's this building. And
so, again, there's at least 3 people that gave descriptions of black hat, black sunglasses, black vest, long gun, multiple with long hair. None of that was released to any of us because it did not fit the narrative of it being Tyler Robinson. Period.
Daily Mail in Texas. That to me looks a lot like the description. Now that's the Lance Twiggs we've all seen. We never got to see his hair, did we? Because they always showed us Lance Twiggs either in a hat or with this stupid costume on. They never one time showed us Lance Twiggs looking like this. This is the first I got to see Lance Twiggs.
And that was a week ago. Those pictures for him are like a week ago. And then this I found extra weird, and thank goodness that there is so many of us out here doing what we're doing, because sometimes shit gets released and then they try to backtrack and walk it back and delete it, and thankfully this was not able to be deleted, although they made the effort and it's not in the regular files.
From Project Constitution, and it's going to illuminate the timeline even further. This is, again, of all the video that or all the audio that was captured that we have access to, it was gone. This is gone. And I'll play it, and then I'll tell you why I think it's missing. Am I the only one that can't
So
hear
I
it?
did do the request. They emailed me back. He did not go in for an autopsy. The death certificate was signed by the doctor at the hospital.
Oh, okay. Can you just do a field clip documenting that?
I'm sorry, 10-9?
Can you just add a step to the case documenting that there was no autopsy? Yeah, 287, I'll be clear to the hospital.
I need an officer at Timpanogos Hospital to come stage in the emergency room bay.
Jesse just told me that he just got on the phone and Charlie's wife is coming to signature.
I'm going to pause it right there. Charlie's wife is coming to signature. I'm going to pull up on Google Earth what they're talking about, because this is important that you guys understand the distinction here at the Provo Airport. Don't get caught up on the autopsy thing. I've got an explanation for that. We'll talk about it in a second. I want to give you some ground laying here for the Provo Airport so that you guys understand what we're looking at. This is the Provo Airport. There are 3 ways you can fly into Provo Airport. One way is to fly into the main airport. This is your main airport. This is the Provo Airport main terminal. This is where the poor people fly. This is where the plebes fly. If you, gentle audience, or I were to fly into Provo, this is where we would fly. We would fly into poor man's land over here. This is for people who make average livings, who work for a living, who don't have nonprofits and billionaires paying them millions of dollars a year. Nope, not those people. It's us. This is where we fly. This is the south end. Over here, you have what's called an FBO. This is where rich people fly in. You'll notice the private jets on the aircraft, on the plane here. This is called an FBO. This is called signature in Provo. So if someone says they're flying into signature, this is where they fly in. Notice how small this parking lot is, right? This is where the elite travel. The elite travel into signature. So he just up talked. Now that is not an Erica Kirk up talk. That's not like Erica Kirk going, Charlie's wife is coming to signature. No. This is a guy who talks normally like an actual human being. And so when he up talks, he's asking a question. Wait a minute. Charlie's wife is coming to signature? Why would you say that? Oh, did I lose the audio? Oh, I pulled a Baron again. Let me pull it back up. I apologize, guys. I know what happened. I can't go away from the audio and then come back to the audio if it's in Twitter. So I apologize. That's not pulling a Baron. That's just me being me. All right. So Jesse just got off the phone and they're coming to signature. Now let me share it again, and you should have audio this time. So Charlie's wife has come to signature. Now, listen now to where they go from here. Actually, I need to go back, right? Because you guys didn't hear that part.
Jesse just told me that he just got off the phone and Charlie's wife is coming to signature and they're bringing a car over here for her.
Charlie's wife is coming to land at signature, you said?
Sir, and Jesse's going to go to Duncan right now and pick up a car for her.
Okay, you guys have it now, right? Yeah, we listen and we don't judge. We listen and we don't judge. So, Jesse, you still didn't hear it? Or is it the second one? If not, I'm just going to read it because the saying she is coming. Okay, so I can't tell if there's no. Some of you are behind and some of you are ahead. So, all good now. Thank you. Okay. Jesse is saying she's coming to signature. That's the middle of the three options. At the south end, you have poor man's land. That's where you guys and Mrs. Coleman and I might fly in. In the middle, we have signature. That's where a lot of rich people fly in. And at the very top, we have Duncan. Duncan Aviation, Duncan. I know it translated on the AI transcription to Dunkin, like Dunkin' Donuts. But then we're not going to Dunkin' Donuts. We're going to Duncan Aviation, perhaps. So Jesse must be one of these guys that works for the police because or the fire. This is a police and fire dispatch. Now wait till you hear this next line. And this is why I think this is no longer available. This is why we can't find it. This is why I said, God save Project Constitution. He's out here doing the Lord's work because of this next line.
Okay, I'm a little confused because that's what Corey just said. They said they were landing at Duncan, so I don't know where they're landing, but we will just kind of play it by ear, I guess, best that we can.
So Corey, I don't know who Jesse and Corey are, but they work there. Jesse says they're landing at Signature, but I'm going to go over to Duncan and get a car for them. Corey says, no. They're landing at Duncan. They're landing at Duncan. I'll show you why this is important. We go back to yesterday. This is why I wanted to do yesterday's show before we did tonight's show. This is precisely why I wanted to do them in this order. I think is the source of the confusion. This flight down here, this N102 Delta Zulu, Scottsdale to Provo that lands at 3:12. You see how I have Andrew on that flight? We've been told the whole time, we've been left with the impression all along that flight contained Erica Kirk. That flight would have come into Signature. That flight would have come in at Signature. I'm going to answer the question of what time that is in just a second. That flight would have come into Signature on an ordinary track. An ordinary person who flies an ordinary Gulfstream 5 into Provo Airport would land at Signature FBO, fixed-based operator. That's where they would have landed.
Sorry. My audio was off. So, back to what he was saying. That is problematic for the story that was told to Candace and by Andrew, that he flew in with his wife and collapsed into Erica's arms. And we know that Erica's flight supposedly arrived an hour prior to Andrew's, and she just waited around, which didn't make sense, which caused further looking into and digging into. And it now looks like Erica flew in before Charlie even got there and sat. She wouldn't have been able to sit in Duncan. She would have only been able to sit in Signature. This is where the confusion was. So it appears she was there before Charlie even got there. And Andrew was the one that took the flight back to Arizona, so that it looked like a flight coming back from Arizona would be Erica coming in. And then Andrew's wife, in fact, flew in to Utah by herself. In our opinion, allegedly. But it sure looks that way. And it sure looks like they're getting more and more cooked as every day goes by. I mean, they can't make it make sense, but we can. And we are every single day digging at it and digging at it and digging at it. And we are. So let's extrapolate that. It appeared from listening to the audios that prior to the FBI being involved, normal law enforcement investigation was taking place. They had snipers on the roofs. They had dude on the very roof that supposedly the shot came from, which I don't believe he was shot. He didn't see no screwdriver, but miraculously 5 hours later, the FBI rolls up. Cash has his little temper tantrum on the plane. He gets his jacket from the female. And in a very short period of time, they have the weapon. They're no longer looking for anybody. They're no longer looking for any vehicles or strange people or any of that. Nobody was allowed to talk to anybody until Cash made his way over there to do it himself. I know I listened to audio of them having regular police, Utah police, being at the apartments, attempting to see what they seen and was told to stand down. I know that the neighbors seen leading up to this a couple days, like black SUV, like FBI vehicles there. So, they just didn't count on people just taking their bullshit narrative like they do on every other situation, you know. And, there is countless ones, countless. I mean, the attempted shooting, or, well, the attempted killing of our president, I think was a distraction. I think so many of this is a distraction to some bigger bullshit thing that they're trying to hide or cover up. And it's getting just downright fucking ridiculous. How many people have to die? This is the United States of America, and you're killing our own people. Not that I want them out killing anybody, but I mean, we're not safe on our own land by our own people. No, that's not our country. So we got to keep digging and digging and digging. So tomorrow, hitting the road early in the morning, going home to Tennessee. Going to be there, I think, 3 days. And I am going to try to get over to the AES place where the explosion took place. And I definitely dug up a couple names and a whistleblower for somebody that used to work there that I am going to attempt to contact, see if I can get anybody to talk. I know that I seen an interview of a girl that had just started there no longer than 3 months she had been there, and this explosion happened at 8 in the morning, and she just happened to leave a couple hours prior to the explosion. And then I know that a person left there prior to this happening by a couple months. So, no, I have so many questions, and I'm just going to go there and see what I can see and find out what I can find out, if anything at all. Thing you can do is try. I have to go home to Tennessee anyway, so I figured I would make that part of my trip. And then when I come back here to Indiana, I am booking tickets for me and my 18-year-old to go to Utah. We have found somebody locally there in Utah that has reached out to me that is willing to show us the lay of the land and dig into it with us. So that is where we're going. And then we'll do Arizona after that. So anyways, guys, I'm going to jump off here so I can get to bed and get up and do this drive. And then hopefully I will hop on quick tomorrow night and have something for you. But I got to do a couple things that I had to do for getting back to Tennessee and going home and handling some business. And then after I get that handled, I plan to take the drive out to McEwen, which is not too far from where I live. So with that, I hope everybody has a good night and sleeps well. And if you like this content, please like and subscribe, share, turn on notifications. Please, it helps the algorithm. I am slowly getting there little by little. And it would definitely be helpful to have subscribers and finally get monetized, which will help pay for some of the trips that I'm making and what I've already got invested. But yeah, it's not my pressing issue. But I would like to start going live and interacting with everybody. So if you could like, subscribe, share, turn on notifications, and remember, everybody, silence is complicity. So we have to open our mouth and speak the truth and just keep talking about it. And the more we talk, the more people listen, the more that we collaborate and put things together, and the less these people stand a chance of trying to shove this bullshit narrative down our throats about not just Charlie, but anything else for that matter. And I would like to say a shout out to Ian Carroll for the work he's done on the Epstein files, and in particularly the Michael Jackson interviews and research that he's put into that. Ian does such phenomenal work. He really does. So that's it, guys. That's it for me. I got to get to bed. So like, subscribe, turn on notifications, share, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Good night, everybody.